of a young Fred?
No, what's going through your head?
You gotta
right
let
now?
us know.
Dan and Adam have such a clear vision for what they want.
Big London.
Commanders family, we have a special show for you today as always. The Commanders have finalized their 53-man roster, and of course, we get into it. Then, the legend Logan Paulson takes us into the film room, and he'll break down the top plays from the preseason. And we have a very special guest joining the show to share some special news.
It all starts now.
Welcome in, Commanders family. Brian Coble Jr. here with Fred Smoot, Santana Moss, and Logan Paulson. And fellas, we're here to talk about that 53-man roster. We all were waiting to see what it would be like.
Yeah.
Fred, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling sad. At the end of the day, congratulations to the 53 that made it. To the guys that didn't make it, continue to chase your dream. Just because it's not here don't mean it's not meant to happen. So yeah, I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time.
And I think that's one of the great things now about the new roster construction too, is it's not 8 practice squad guys. There's 20 practice squad guys. So a lot of those guys that are getting that were moving on or got released, they're back. You know, saw some of those guys in the lobby today, and it's really nice that they're going to be around the program and have a chance to grow a little bit, I think.
And just to chime in on it, I was pleased to see some of those guys as well, because there's a lot of guys, when you hear those guys get cut, you're like, damn, I was really rooting for that guy.
Yeah.
But you look at it, you got 33 plus something, new guys on this team, and that's one of the things about it. When you get a new staff in here, man, they're going to go out there and pick their guys. You know, Joe Witt said it from day one.
Yeah.
If you don't fit what we do, you ain't going to be here. So I'm glad to see that they finally now, I can't say finally, initially they have the guys that they want, and now we can just move forward and see these guys gel together.
It kind of reminds me of like 2010 when Mike Shanahan was here, and everyone, I remember how that turned over, that team. It was like half the guys from the year before were gone. It just got to fit the identity, right? You talked about it with Joe Witt Jr. I think Dan and Adam have such a clear vision for what they want to compete, the toughness, and if you don't fit, we're going to move on. And it's kind of cool to have that core and see that get established.
And them identify so quick when a guy does or do not have the attitude or the vision that they want. And I think with them, it's more mental makeup they're looking for. Like if you make it to this level, everybody can play football. Everybody got a gift for the game, but I think they're looking for mentality.
100%.
And fellas, we're going to talk about offense. We're going to talk about the defense. We're going to have Leonard Fletcher join us, but any surprises that stood out to you before we really dive in?
I mean, obviously there's a couple guys. I think what they did at the defensive line room, I think, what's his name?
Jean-Baptiste.
I think you kind of slowly came along there the last couple games of the preseason, earned that spot. And then Jamin Davis, man, got to give him a shout out as well, man. Did a great job.
Yank off. Yank off. Yank off.
Dan, any surprises for you, brother?
I don't have too many surprises.
No one surprises Tanner
at all. Certain groups, we have a lot of guys in there, so I'm waiting to see how that unfolds.
Well, fellas, we're going to dive into that. And all offseason, we talked about the collaboration between AP and DQ. And we got to see that here yesterday with that 53-man roster. Tough decision. We heard from them when they spoke to the media yesterday. Let's take a listen.
We had a team meeting today, for the first time, and it's that connection together. I would say they've connected really strongly, Chick, which doesn't always happen right away. But to see a lot of these guys as teammates, what they want to be about, the standard they've set for one another, I think that's one of the really coolest parts when you look back and you watch. And I felt that Sunday night. Adam and I were both after the game, just seeing the energy for the players, after a score, after a big play, the sideline, kind of going crazy for some people. That's the type of environment that, Adam and I both really want to be a part of, like where we know we can work our ass off, but really enjoy it too. And so what I do see from this crew is a crew that does that. And so they're working really hard together to find their edges, but they're also enjoying it together. And so that's why, what better compliment than when you release somebody and they text you back later, hey man, I really want to be a part of this or that, or when a player gets claimed by another team and they're waiting around to visit just because they wanted to, check in with Adam and make sure, to show that gratitude and appreciation. That doesn't happen everywhere, Chick. And so to see that, I don't think there could be a better compliment of the people that Adam has brought in, that they stand for the right stuff.
Great to hear from AP and DQ. A tough decision trying to come up with that final 53-man roster. So let's really dive into it, and we can't dive into it without bringing on Big Fletch. Here to talk the defense.
Big London Fletch.
Big Fletch.
Big London.
Clearly, we got the besties over here to talk defense. Before we get into defense, let's go right into the offense. Logan Paulson, we decided to keep 3 quarterbacks. How you feel about the decision?
Yeah, I mean, a little surprising. I thought they'd give that roster spot to another kind of skill position group, safety, whatever it is, linebacker. But I do think that Driscoll did a great job in the preseason. And with Mariota a little bit nicked up, not quite 100%, it's just good security going into week 1. Make sure that in case something does happen to Jaden, you have that security blanket.
And I think all eyes were on what we were going to do with our wide receiver core, right? Who we were going to keep, who we were going to let go. Tanner, how you feeling?
I was very pleased with it. You know, we have that veteran presence when you have Pringle and you have a guy like Crowder who I thought can go out there and help these guys in the return position. And then you have those other young guys out there that, you know, they're talking about that these guys don't have enough height. Chill about the height. Go out there and make plays. So I was very pleased about that group.
Yeah, everyone talks about the lack of height at receiver, but I think you got big tight ends. And when I look at practice and the practice structure, like Zach Ertz was that big receiver. He's got a great rapport with Jaden Daniels. I look at Ben Sitt and how he matured as a pass catcher. And then I think the surprise of the tight end room is Colson Yankoff, man.
Yeah.
Like, did you have on your bingo card? I know Fred did.
Yes.
But a guy who just made it through teams. And so you do have like a really interesting group when you kind of combine the receivers and the tight ends to kind of flesh out that pass catching group.
And then offensive line.
Yes.
Talk about depth there.
Yeah.
What do you see from that offensive line, the guys we decided to keep?
Yeah, I mean, Tana, I don't know how you feel about it, but it is a little bit interesting. You got kind of a rookie, Brandon Coleman, who didn't play a lot in the preseason, right? Then you got Cornelius Lucas coming in. Chris Paul, I thought, did a great job in the preseason, kind of establishing himself as that swing guard. But after that, it gets a little bit dicey. Maybe a spot that they look for on waivers, or what do you think?
That's just what I'm thinking about. I think somebody's going to be out there that we're going out there magically put our hands on and say, we need you over here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you talk about receivers, and I got to get my 2 cents in. I love how Luke McCaffrey did in the preseason games and how well he did and how he earned that roster spot. Just the physicality, the urgency that he played with. I feel like he really embodies what this staff is bringing here in Washington.
Love to see him play out there. He was out there making big plays in the receiving game and blocking. And one of the things about it they've been asking me is he's a primary slot guy. I don't know if he's a primary slot guy or outside guy. I guess we'll see that when he go out there and play. But I think he's one of those guys, those young guys, that's going to make someone work for those spots.
And we talked about Colson Yankoff playing teams. I think Luke McCaffrey, they gave him an opportunity to return punts. He played gunner. That toughness just is kind of prevalent throughout his game. Really cool. I think he's a really nice piece to add.
How could y'all not talk about the running backs? Y'all just ain't gonna say nothing about the
I guess it's kind of surprising Nichols is here. I played with Nichols in San Francisco. I think he's a great kind of pro third down back, understands protections, adds value on teams. I know people were asking for Wiley. I don't know if he showed enough. He did a good job. I don't know if he showed enough. So that first 3 makes a lot of sense.
And we heard DQ talk about it. Versatility.
Yeah.
Every guy you guys name is versatile. Luke McCaffrey, 2 years as a wide receiver. So we don't even know who he is yet. Now, since Fred is so urgent to talk and interrupt people, let's turn it over to the defensive side of the ball, starting with the defensive line.
Yeah.
Fred, what'd you see out there?
Well, first of all, our offense sells tickets, defense win championships.
Start with him talking.
Because we got to go linebackers for you.
You can jump in here anytime you want to. Like, I was shocked that they kept so many D tackles. So it asking me is, are these guys going to be permanently on here? Are you going to keep that many guys? Then when you look at the edge rush, you got Jamie Davis, who's considered right now an edge rush. You got Colin Farrell. You got guys in the mix there. So my big question is, how many guys are permanently going to be on this roster?
Yeah, and understand this. And Coach Quinn has talked about this is the initial 53. There will be some changes that take place between now and Wednesday when they're getting ready for Tampa Bay. I'll talk about this, though. Javonte John Baptiste. He earned the spot. You're talking about a guy going out there and earning his roster spot, 7th round draft pick from Notre Dame. I thought the last 2 ball games showed relentless effort, pursuit. You got to love his size and his physicality as a young player. He earned this spot on this team. But I thought from a defensive line perspective, there were some guys who earned their roster spot and made it where they had to.
And those guys got value. They have value in this league.
And London, not a lot of surprises in linebacker core, but one thing that we did see that change is Dom Hampton has moved from safety to linebacker on the depth chart. Man, how important is that to have a guy that can play both of those positions?
Well, it's important for him because he has the ability to play. He showed them the ability to play the inside linebacker position. He played 2 games in the preseason at that spot. And I didn't think he was out. He looked out of place.
No.
And what I look for, can you read guards? Can you read pulls and things like that? He was comfortable doing those things. There's a couple things that he can learn just from experience. And Coach Norton, the linebacker coach, Ken Norton Jr., he'll teach him those things. But the ability to be able to play linebacker and he can go back and play safety, that added to his ability to make this team. Michael Walker. The Jordan McGee injury kind of made it where they also needed to have more bodies at the inside linebacker position. But Michael Walker took advantage of his opportunity. He showed great speed. He great physicality. He even had Logan on the broadcast. Who threw the call, making noise like, ooh!
Yeah. Dude, he can run now.
He was hitting too. So I think the inside linebacker group as a whole is much improved.
And don't just talk, but when you think about linebackers, you also got to talk, because we talked Dominique Hampton, being able to play linebacker and move back to the secondary. Where Jamin Davis, Jamin Davis is your +1 linebacker. He's the guy that can, if anybody gets hurt, he moved back a step too. So I think when y'all talk versatility, that's what the coach was talking about.
And they are harping on this versatility. And then we look at our corners. Versatile, long guys. I think all eyes were on our corners. Fred, how do you feel about the decisions that were made? Who do you think makes it?
I feel good about the corners. I think Sanders still opening up everybody's eyes. And the big question with him is, they know what he is at the nickel. Can he play outside? And can he start? Can he be a number 1 or a number 2 corner? I think that's what wants to be said. Mike Davis, I think he earned everything that was given to him. St. Juice, I think they're going to really put pressure on St. Juice to be that dude outside. Now, is he going to answer that bell? That's up to us to see. Then, of course, Emmanuel Forbes is out there, Monogamy. So I think that group is well-rounded. They understand what they have. I think that'll be the group that we move on with. But the safeties, is a ton of those guys.
Oh, a lot of safeties.
a lot of safeties.
But when you think about safeties, who are going to be your core special teams guy, especially with the new dynamic kickoff? Those guys are going to be covering the kicks. You need those type of players, not only covering kicks, but also blocking, because those cover guys get on you so quickly. You need guys with size and athleticism. And again, this is the initial 53. It could be some changes that take place in that room as well. But initially, just looking at it, I was happy. I mean, that was the deepest position I felt like on this team, that safety.
You got Owens, and don't forget about Jeremy Reeves. They're coming off a Pro Bowl session, and then you got Defoe, and we talked, and you got Quan.
We haven't talked about Percy Butler.
Not enough.
Butler played extremely well this season. I'm sure he pleasantly surprised this coaching staff and what he was able to do. He showed the ability to make tackles in open field, and he made some nice tackles in open field.
And even last season, he filled in for injuries, right? He showed that he has an ability to play. Now, Fred, you mentioned Tyler Owens. I feel like we have to show him love, because it's not every day an undrafted free agent makes an impact the way Tyler Owens made that impact. What did you see from Tyler Owens, and why are you excited to have him on our roster?
First of all, he jumped off the screen at the comeback. Some of his measurements are unbelievable. But when he got on the field, he swapping paint. That's what he does. And what he did is he made plays on defense. Yes, he did. But on special teams, he's a hellion. He's the guy that causes problems. He gets out there, and you have to hold him accountable. He's the guy that when they turn on the film, they're like, hey, wherever number 40, we need to make sure we know where he is. And that says a lot for him to be a rookie in this.
Fellas, the initial 53-man roster, a lot to be excited about. A lot of guys that we are ready to see, and a lot of versatility on this roster. And speaking of excitement, I think we're all excited to have an owner like Josh Harris. I caught up with him on the sideline of our last preseason game to talk about Jaden Daniels and all the things he's excited for with this season. It's time for Best Seat in the House, presented by SeatGeek. Your ticket to great Commander seats.
A lot for Commanders fans to be excited about, but I think the thing they're most excited about, no surprise here, is rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. He was named the QB1. What do you expect to see from your rookie in his first year?
You see what I see. I mean, you see a person who's able to move the team down the field, who's incredibly quick and athletic, looking across the field. I mean, quarterback is the hardest position in sports, right? You got to move, you got to have athleticism, an arm, and you got to process too, right? Quickly, he has all of it. He's the first to practice and the last to leave, and an amazing person, right? So I see him move effortlessly between Dan and myself and his teammates and the fans, and it's a pretty unique skill to be able to connect with so many people. So he's a real leader, and so I'm really optimistic, and I'm so excited he's with us.
Mr. Harris, we are so excited, and we're also so grateful for all the things you have planned here for the Commanders. Last question, you see these fans, they pulled up early. Me and you've been here a while, but they've been here a lot longer. Last thing, what is a message you would give to these amazing fans and why they're the best fan base in the NFL?
So listen, my message to DMV fans is I am a DMV fan, and I know that we were all lost for a little bit, but we're now back, and the players need our support. The team needs our support. You matter. We're going to try to do everything we can to make this an amazing experience when you decide to show up or watch us on TV. And so we're doing everything we can, and please support us. And also, I know you're not shy. Keep giving us the feedback, and we appreciate it.
Mr. Harris, we appreciate your time so much, and good luck this season. Thank you, sir. We have a full slate of content for you, Commanders family, starting with our podcast. Now, every Monday, we have our new podcast called Booth Review with London Fletcher and Bram Weinstein. They talk about the preseason and positivity heading into this new season. Now, this week on the Get Loud podcast, London Fletcher joined the show and talked making the roster as an undrafted free agent and playmakers from the preseason. You can check out the Get Loud podcast featuring the captain. On the Command Center podcast, Logan, Tana, and Fred recap the preseason and dove into the 53-man roster. Then on Fridays, it's Next Man Up. This week, we have our starting running back, Brian Robinson Jr.
It's time for your top 5 presented by Local 5 Plumbers Union, proud partner of the Washington Commanders.
Let's do top 5 plays from the preseason. Let's start off with our guy, Jaden Daniels. Man, this guy had a fantastic preseason. Let's start off with the play that I love most, right? We had the screen on up here to the receiver up top. It's man coverage, though. Look at all these guys. They're matched up. We're matched up. It's not good because this offensive lineman's got to get out here and block this coverage player. It's not going to work. So what does our guy do? We tap the helmet. We check the play. We say, who's our best matchup? It's our guy, Diami, up top here. Love this. Love that he checked the play. Love that he identified the coverage. Love that he found a solution that he liked. I also really enjoy that his vision, right? His vision is holding this safety right down the middle of the field. Watch the safety open up the wrong way here. Opens up the wrong way. I ensure the one-on-one, and then we put a lot of air on the ball, a lot of arc on the ball, and it allows the receiver to adjust. Great job by Diami coming down with this thing. Excellent work. Love the whole process. Love the beginning, love the middle, love the end, love the finish especially. Great job. It's got to be on there in terms of top 5 plays from the preseason. Now, touchdowns. We always love touchdowns. Again, we get man coverage by the Jets. We got a zone read up top. This is the read player, this defensive end right there, number 72. If he closes down and attacks this ball carrier on the dive, he's going to pull it and go for a touchdown. And all Jaden has to do now is beat this middle field safety. And we've all seen Jaden Daniels highlights. He's fast. He's explosive. This is an easy decision for him. Pull this sucker out. Let's attack the perimeter. Great job blocking by these tight ends up top. And I can walk into the end zone. It's going to be really fun to see him do this in the regular season, obviously. And then it's always great seeing Jaden, checking plays and all that stuff. But anytime Terry McLaurin gets involved, that's another highlight for this team, right? He's one of the best playmakers on offense. Love the ball placement here. Watch this. Good base with the feet. Nice quick release. Ball low and away. It allows Terry to run with the football. And Terry in space, he's a strong, powerful, physical runner. Let's get after a little bit. Nice finish there on the run. Love that. Love to see that from the starter. Always good for them to get touches early in the preseason. And maybe one of my favorite plays, and it's not because it's just the tight ends. I always love when tight end catch the football, but I love the design too. This is cover 3, right? The weak spots in cover 3 are the seams because you have these 3 players dissecting the field into thirds, right? So I love that Cliff calls this play. A little bit of ball fake in the backfield that holds the linebackers. They step up towards the line of scrimmage. We ensure throwing windows. Right, Benson the young tight end, pushes for width, slips underneath, and he's right in that seam, that weak spot of cover 3. So love the design, love the execution, all that stuff. But the thing that gets you really juiced up is when you see a young, physical football player that is in the developmental stages of his career run with the football in his hands like this. We got people missing tackles. Let's go 1, right? Let's play it out. 2. We got all these guys that are going to get on the tackle. That's 5 people, and he is still running with the football. That is a guy who loves football, who is a commander at heart. Love to see these young draft picks coming together. That's what the preseason's all about, man. Love to see that energy. I mean, look at this. Can we get more Jets in the shot here? I don't think so. That's pretty cool. Love to see that. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So that's the third one. Here we go. And this is maybe, I know there's not a lot of defensive highlights in the preseason, but this was the one for me that kind of sparked the whole thing, right? Because it showed a change, right? We got guys like Mike Sanders still here. Watch him read this out. It's a little bubble screen, so I identify it. I'm going to beat the block. Little working my inside move here. Great job. And then I'm going to pursue this thing all the way across the field, and I'm going to get on this tackle. And I love this too. Watch Frankie Luvu. He's a rusher over here on the far side. He gets back in on this action. He delivers a tremendous blow on this. See that head rattle? Bam out. Yep. We're playing, rock'em sock'em robots there. So the energy that this defense played with on this play, I mean, even Jordan McGee, right? We're getting blocked by 2 people. We're finishing the ball. This is a change in era defensively. And I love this. I love this kind of energy, and this is why this plays in the top 5 for the preseason. And I can't wait to see this group play this year and bring this energy every single week.
And that's not all for you, Commanders family. We have content for you all week long. Thursdays, you know what it is. It's Command Center. Every Thursday, you can catch us on a new Command Center. Fridays is Next Man Up with your favorite players, also some legends, and maybe even a celebrity or two. We have the Players Club. That's back with London Fletcher and Santana Moss, and they're adding a new guy, Sean Springs. This week, they sat down with our defensive lineman and veteran Jonathan Allen. They talked changes, the defense as a whole, and this upcoming season. You're definitely going to want to check that out. And, of course, they're Emmy nominated. And then on Sundays, the game plan premieres this week. Logan and I sit down with head coach Dan Quinn to watch film and talk about the 53-man roster. The game plan comes out every game day at 8 a.m., so be sure to tune in. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the Commanders YouTube page, what are you doing? Football season is finally here, and we have all the content you need to stay up to date on your Washington Commanders. It's time for some can't-miss moments presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now, it's not every day you have a punter that can lay the lumber like Tress Way. So you know what? We had to invite him in so we could talk about this highlight right here.
I mean, this is a great tackle right here.
It reminds me of a young Fred.
No, what's going through your head?
You gotta let us know.
Okay, so
That's what I want to know.
So the story behind it is I'm not supposed to kick it that far. That kind of came, the wind was swirling, it was MetLife, it kind of came off and took off. And I was like, ooh, that's a little deep. And then all of a sudden I saw us just caving in. I'm like, oh, we're gonna flip the field, pin him deep. Yeah. And he squirts out right there. But as you guys have probably seen in the past, I love to run down, celebrate, got the secret handshakes with Revo. So I take off. Well, then when he comes out the backside over there, I was already down there. So I just kind of took off. And I remember wrapping him up and tackling him. Yeah. And I just thought, I hope it looks cool. Because there's been a couple times where I've hit somebody or I did something where I'm like, yeah, that felt good. And then you see it on film, you're like, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Now that you get to watch it here, did you do a good job?
I did a good job.
Yeah. Cool to me,
and
man.
I think there's one of the angles, I'm kind of running and he stops his feet. I kind of stop my feet. And then I had a coach early in my career said sidelines never missed a tackle. So whenever I saw, I was like, he can try and go all the way back around, but I got all the dogs in there, go for it. Yeah. So I was like, let's go that way. And
I wish you played with Fred. You could have taught him that a little bit.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. He looked like a young Fred Smoot right there.
Thank you.
Don't worry about that, Trish.
I was feeling that. Yeah, I was feeling that. But no, that was cool. And I still, as you can see, there's a little
battle scar.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I told my son Bo, he's like, Dad, you got an owie? I was like, I sure did. He's like, when's the last time you got one? I earned it. They don't come that often. So I'm doing the opposite. Like all the treatment you're supposed to do, I'm kind of holding off to the side because I need the scar to stay. Yeah, it's just,
It wasn't just about the highlight that we brought you in. You actually have a special announcement that you and Jaden have been working on.
Yes.
Want to share that with us?
Yeah. So part of the jersey exchange, and man, Jaden was awesome. He's just been so humble, so approachable ever since he got here. But the biggest thing was that he had decided part of the deal was whenever I had announced my new number, he was going to partner with Fanatics, and we were going to do a giveaway for a lot of the fans that already have Tress Way 5 jerseys. Yeah. I still have to double take every once in a while because you see a lot of 5 jerseys now. Yeah. I'm like, that's probably not mine. And so all the Tress Way 5 jerseys that are out there, we are doing a mass. Just come at it with the email. We created an email. It's tresswayjersey@gmail.com. Didn't ever think I'd do an email like that, but tresswayjersey@gmail.com. The first 100 people that submit a picture of them holding a Tress Way 5 jersey, but you got to do the Way side. You got to show Way because otherwise there's a lot of Jaden Daniels 5 jerseys out there. But show Tress Way 5, and the first 100 people that submit it to the email, we're going to go through and we're going to try and mail out those Tress Way 10 jerseys. 10 is official, and we're going to mail them out as soon as we can.
Tress, that is an awesome thing that you and Jaden are deciding to do, man. That is so cool that you guys are doing that for the fan base.
Thank you.
And you look good in the number 10. You're officially number 10 now. How's it feel?
It feels good, and part of the reason too that's fun to do this with the fans is a lot of fans like at practice because I love our numbers on these jerseys, but the practice jerseys, I mean, it's kind of old school 10, like remember the Titans 10, just boom. And so I was like, all right, we'll see. But a lot of the fans are like, Tress, we really like it. And then a lot of people, they're like, hey, you've been here 10 years. One of my favorite Bible verses, John 10:10. And so there's a lot of 10s coming into play. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I'm in. Everybody's been super cool. And my daughter, Harper, our oldest one of the more influential female voices in my life. She was like, Daddy, I really like 10. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
That's awesome. Let's do it.
You got the stamp there.
I'm in.
Tress, thank you for your time, man. That's so cool what you're doing for the fans. Commanders family, we have Tress Way here. This is Command Center. We'll see y'all next Thursday.